This news buzzed around the deep walls of the palace, and upon hearing this report, the ladies were excited. Hello everyone, fellow YouTubers and viewers, welcome back. How are you doing? I hope all is well. Right now, I will not do time traveling. Phew, thank goodness. But I will shift the duration from the time of Han Xin, which is the start of the Han Dynasty, to the peak of the empire, the Western Han Dynasty, or in Chinese, Si Han. Wait for 1 second. You might ask me, so when's the entire Han Dynasty? Are there two halves of it? Or is the Eastern Han or Dong Han emperors of another family? Yep, bullseye! The Han dynasty has been divided into two parts, the Western and the Eastern Han, Si Han and Dong Han. Historians did this to distinguish the different icons who inaugurated these two halves. Ooh, what do you mean by this? Well, let's take a look at the brief timeline. Like I mentioned earlier, Han was separated into two. Liu Bang was the inaugurator of the Han dynasty, but it was later known to be the Western Han dynasty because of two things. Number one, a young emperor named Emperor Ping of Han, or in Chinese, Han Pingdi, was poisoned by an outer royal relative called the Huai Qi named Wang Mang, and later he seized the throne after the sudden death of the young Emperor Ping. His deposition of the Han dynasty was the main reason why historians differentiated the two sectors of the empire. In addition, the new empire, which means Wang Mang's reign, was not super and widely accepted and welcomed by the people, and it roused many revolutionaries. Mostly with the family name of Liu, they were claiming their right to restore the dynasty. If you hear the name of Wang Mang, we think of a cruel tyrant. However, apparently, some current research shows that Wang Mang was also a selfless leader, and despite his devotion to Confucianism, his short regime ended in turmoil. He was soon overthrown by Liu Xiu, who later became Emperor Guangwu of Han, or Han Guangwu Di. Number 2. In ancient Chinese history, to differentiate the two sectors of the same dynasty, they consider the location of the capital. Let's look back. When Liu Bang inaugurated Han, he set his capital in Chang'an, which is in the west. On the other hand, when Liu Xiu restored the empire, he moved the capital to Luoyang, which is in the east. So basically, Liu Bang's Han is Si Han, while Liu Xiu is Dong Han. So to sum it all up, the Han dynasty was divided into two periods, and the main cause was the sudden interruption of Wang Mang's rise into power. But in general, usually the main reason for such division was internal conflicts or wars. Okay guys, that was actually just the intro, so please lend your ears for a few minutes. Now, going back to our story for today, our time setting is going to be in the Western Han, into the reign of the Emperor Yuan of Han, or Han Yuanbi. Our main protagonist for this selection today is Wang Zhaojun. Oh yes, the beautiful and glorious Wang Zhaojun. She is part of the four beauties of ancient China, or collectively known in Chinese, 四大美女. But who exactly are they? But who are the 四大美女? Who are the four beauties of ancient China? Please stay updated for an upcoming video about these beautiful women, so thank you for your understanding. So the title of the story is 昭君出塞. During the reign of Han Yuanbi, Wang Zhaojun was sent into the palace to be a maid, and she was extremely beautiful. However, nobody knew of her beauty and her radiance. She was unknown. What? How could it be like that? I mean, she would definitely be courted by some other people? No, she was unfortunately not. Before, most people judge others through their social status. For instance, for people like Zhao Jun who belong to a lower social class, it is very difficult in those days to be praised and recognized. In her palace quarters, she lighted up the days of her acquaintances and friends with her kind words. She knew herself that it was difficult to gain the favor of the emperor, so she found comfort from her constant companions, which are the other maids there. One day, the emperor decided to select some concubines from the palace lady servants. So he called upon a painter named Mao Yanshou to illustrate every lady there through painting. Basically, Mao Yanshou had to paint portraits of girls and show them to the emperor, and through those paintings, the emperor would then choose which one he liked. But, this Mao Yanshou was not a good painter. But what I mean by good painter? It's not that he's not skilled, but what I mean that he was not a rightful person. A lover of fortune and money, he seized this opportunity to attempt for the emperor's favor, and the other ladies at the back of the palace also seized this opportunity. The ugly ones in physical appearance bribed the painter with gold and silver so that they can be painted as beautiful damsels. Guys, can you imagine this? What a corrupt atmosphere! Inequality and injustice was present because the painter would accept bribery only to enhance the portraits. Now, going back to Wang Zhaojun, she also wanted a chance to win the emperor's favor. So she asked Mao Yanshou to illustrate a portrait of her. However, Mao Yanshou asked her if she had some money. Instantly, Zhaojun knew that this painter would only accept a sum of money to create a beautiful painting. However, she was poor, and there was absolutely no way for her to give a sum of money to the painter. Hey guys, wanna know something magical? Despite the fact that she had zero amount of money, Zhaojun didn't give in to this request of Mao Yanshou. She stressed her intention by saying that she would never commit bribery just for the sake of a beautiful painting. Shaking her head in indignation, as a sign of resistance, she walked away. Okay guys, before we continue, I have a question to ask. What do you think would be Mao Yanshou's reaction? A. Reflect on his bad actions and paint a beautiful picture for Zhaojun, or B. Get angry and does something horribly bad. You have 5 seconds to think, and be mindful of the ticking time. For those who answered letter B, you're right! Seeing that Wang Zhaojun wouldn't give in easily, he drew an ugly painting of her. As a result, Zhaojun had no chance to meet the emperor, not even once. Some days later, a special or unique announcement arrived in the boundaries of the palace. The leader of the Xiongnu tribe, a tribe in the northern area of China, called by the people there Chanyu, will pay an annual visit to the capital, and that he had requested for marriage to a Han lady. The emperor decided to select among the palace maids. This news buzzed around the deep walls of the palace, and upon hearing this report, the ladies were excited. Like birds in dark cages, the maids longed for freedom and wanted to get out. However, when they heard that they will be selected and they will be sent to the super-duper distant territory of Xiongnu, their hearts dropped in sadness. Almost none of them were willing to go on this mission. However, this was not the mindset of the beautiful and fair Wang Zhaojun. She believed that the arranged marriage could further strengthen the relations between the Han dynasty and Xiongnu and ensure peace and order of the citizens. So, after confirming her decision, she asked help from a eunuch to sign her up in the list, a list that contained the candidates to be the Chinese wife. One day, a ceremony and a party was held to welcome His Highness, the leader of Xiongnu, Hu Hanye. Despite his somewhat old age, I guess he was about 40 plus at that time, his eyes still shone the radiance of his youth, and his structure displayed a brave king and comrade. He climbed up the grand staircase of the palace together with the Han Emperor, which is Han Yuandi or Emperor Yuan. Hand in hand, they chatted about the respective kingdoms and conversed about the diverse and similar characteristics between the two. I remember when Your Majesty was still the crown prince, said the Chanyu. It was a privilege to listen to you play the flute. By the way guys, Chanyu is a term of the leader of Xiongnu, okay? So he's a reminder. I feel the very same, Your Highness, replied the Emperor, chuckling happily. I also miss the times when both of us ride the horses you graciously sent. It was really a memorable experience. They positioned themselves on their seats and enjoyed the entertainment presented to them on the grand platform. Conversations, dance, music filled the area, creating a festive atmosphere. Then, after a few hours of party time, the Chan Yu stood up and bowed to Emperor Yuan. "Your Majesty," he began, "I have brought here with me a wondrous gift, and I wish to present it to you today. They are some of the best horses from Xiongnu, their speed equivalent to runners. They can go thousands of miles a day without being tired. These horses are also my homage to you as well." Thrilled, the emperor thanked the Chan Yu for bearing such gift and homage. He gladly accepted it. Then he asked the leader of Xiongnu, "And what shall I give to you, my brother?" The Chan Yu, Hu Hanye, bowed a little lower than before, then stated his answer. "I ask for nothing else but marriage to a princess of the royal family to be my wife." I wonder what's going on then. The emperor took a deep breath, then revealed his statement. "I have here a beautiful gift for you, as a symbol and return of your greatest intentions. I have here a group of fair ladies who signed themselves up as candidates to be your wife. You may choose which lady you desire to bring with you to your kingdom." With these words, he called his servants to announce the 5 ladies to the platform. Okay, before we proceed to the next thrilling part of the story, let me ask y'all a question. Do you think Wang Zhaojun is there? A moment after, 5 fair women trudged to the center of the majestic platform and kneeled in front of the emperor. "Long live the emperor," they said synchronously. After addressing the emperor, they were told to do the same to the Chan Yu, who sat diagonally across his majesty. Meanwhile, looking at the ladies, Hu Hanye's eyes met Wang Zhaojun, and his eyes sparkled in awe. Watching her every move, he couldn't help but admire her bearing, good conduct and manners, and posture. "She's the most beautiful woman I've ever seen in my life," muttered the Chan Yu to himself. And plus, her attractive and stunning appearance shone not only Hu Hanye's heart, but also the entire area, and even the emperor. At that time, every single person in that scene was in awe of Wang Zhaojun's magnificent beauty, and they were shocked. How could such a beautiful woman remain unnoticed and unheard of in the palace? This was probably the question that first popped out in their minds, and maybe a question we still ask ourselves today. Admiring her immense beauty, the emperor inquired Wang Zhaojun softly, "How come I do not know you?" Wang Zhaojun answered politely, "Your Majesty is busy every day with state affairs, so this must be the reason why you cannot have time for maids like me." Hearing this, the Emperor Yuan felt his heart ached, and once again he asked her, "Are you willing to marry the Chan Yu? Are you willing to marry the Chan Yu? Are you willing?" "Yes, I am willing," Zhao Jun firmly stated her answer. "I am willing to marry His Highness the Chan Yu for the sake of the prosperity of the relations between the 2 kingdoms." When the emperor heard these words, his face displayed enormous regret. But he quickly kept his emotions, for he had promised the Chan Yu and he didn't want to break it. So he, together with his officials, selected a date to send the newlyweds off from the capital to the Xiongnu grasslands. After the grand send-off of Zhao Jun and the Chan Yu, the emperor constantly thought of the recently sent Wang Zhaojun and her beautiful smiles and face. Imagine how much he wanted for her to stay by his side, a wish that could no longer come true. Terribly saddened by this shocking truth, he instantly dispatched investigation missions with hopes to find out the main reason why he did not know of Wang Zhaojun. After further investigation, he finally found out that Mao Yanshou was the criminal and the mastermind above all. The emperor was so furious that he ordered the execution of the corrupt painter. At least we could say that Zhao Jun was finally avenged. Meanwhile, on the road to Xiongnu, the couple, along with thousands of servants and soldiers, had to pass rocky and snowy mountains and plains in order to reach their destination. Due to the very long trip, the group had to pause at some certain areas to rest. One day, looking to the south, Zhao Jun gazed at the direction for a long time. Despite her willingness to marry the Chanyu, she missed her family and the Han Dynasty as well, which is quite understandable. She watched as the geese flocked to the south and the sands of the desert whooshed due to the strong wind. Breaking into mild tears, she picked up her lute and started to play a melodious tune. Geese flying above the sky, and when they heard her music, the rhythm seemed to move them. And noticing the beauty of Wang Zhaojun, it fell from the sky and landed on the desert sands. That is how powerful Wang Zhaojun's music was to them. When the group arrived in Xiongnu, the Chanyu married Zhao Jun, and both of them led a happy and peaceful life. From her arrival to her death, Wang Zhaojun had contributed greatly to the harmony between the two kingdoms and secured their bilateral connections. She became an inspiration through her wholehearted bravery and sacrifice, an instrument in introducing the Han culture to the Xiongnu people. Wang Zhaojun was admired and loved by the Han and Xiongnu alike. And up to this day, people still speak of her timeless beauty and works. Wow, what a nice story, don't you guys agree? Generally, when people hear the name Wang Zhaojun, they think of her as a beautiful young woman whose majestic appearance garnered favor of the emperor and the Chanyu. Yes, but there's more to that. Wang Zhaojun courageously represented the Han Dynasty in the grasslands of the Xiongnu through her arranged marriage to Hu Hanye. So in the end, her story had a beautiful ending. Fun fact guys, as mentioned a while ago, the title of this story is昭君出塞, which means the ventures of Zhao Jun. Okay, so that's it for today, and I hope you all enjoyed this video, and I hope you learned something fresh and new. See you all guys next time. Bye bye for now.